Welcome to The Last 50 Feet, the podcast about what happens when autonomous vehicles actually arrive at the curb. Every week, we get into what is moving in autonomous commerce, what's stalling, and who's building what next. No fluff, all signal, and we keep it brief. That's our thing. Let's get into it.
Welcome to The Last 50 Feet. We are back with our regular set of, hosts. We have producer Kyle. Kyle, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for actually introing me today. I'm here.
Is it the first time I've ever actually introed you?
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
He's loose today.
And then we got this guy in this jacket, and the jacket looks great, smells questionable, but that's what happens when you rent clothes.
We also have the cool colored lights that we added to the studio too. I just want to call that out. Feeling like
shout out Cam. It's looking good.
Yeah. Do we think that the lights are on brand? Is this looking good? Jonas, what do you think, by the way?
Yeah, it looks pretty nice from here. I think with this StreamYard setup, it's all in reverse. So like from my view, the light is backwards, but I bet when it gets published, it's forwards. So.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I see it all.
Today it is backwards for some reason. Mm-hmm. Wait, what did you guys do to the camera?
We'll be submitting a ticket to StreamYard.
Okay.
Even though it's likely user error, we'll still be submitting a ticket.
Jonas has a 5-dimensional cube behind him, so
yeah, his background.
It's art,
better.
man. It's art.
Why don't we introduce our guest too, Cam?
I was getting there.
Okay, perfect.
And then today we're joined by Jonas Lamis, founder of Remount. And Jonas, you're a month into Remount at this point. You're on month 2.
I'd say we're about 6 weeks in. Yes, indeed, month 2. Launched the remount.co website on May 1st.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, tell us a little bit about you. Give us just a quick background, and then tell us a little bit about Remount, what you're working on.
Absolutely. Cool. So guys, thanks a lot for inviting me to join you here. I'm really excited to talk about the last 50 feet and everything between the factory and that last 50 feet, I think. So a little bit about me. I am a startup guy living in Silicon Valley. And over the last 20 years or so, I've been a part of a couple different companies in the enterprise software space, some stuff in the Web3 space, but living in kind of suburban Palo Alto, I have been really swarmed by autonomous vehicles over the last 10 years. I'm sitting at the center of autonomous robo-taxi test grounds, essentially. I've got Google's X Labs about a mile in one direction and Tesla's design center about a mile in the other direction. And I've seen these cars driving around with their LiDAR rigs for so long that I finally decided I needed to do something about it. And so that's kind of what led me to kicking off this project called Remount.
And tell us a little bit more about what the goal for Remount is. I mean, you thought you saw all the activity in Silicon Valley. You're at the test ground, so to speak. What is Remount's goal? What do you plan to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess the pitch for Remount is that we are the platform that will allow normal people, regular people like you and me, to own, to operate, and to profit from this coming wave of physical autonomy. The bots are coming. Robo-taxis are an early example of that, but there's going to be many, many physical machines that are going to operate autonomously over the next decade, all the way up through humanoid robots. And I personally think it's really important that there's a venue for, mom and pop investors, rideshare drivers, and everybody in between to be able to own a piece of that capital. And so that's basically the stack that I'm building for Remount. It's a way for people to be able to own the vehicles, for those vehicles to be operated on their behalf in a profitable way, and then for them to be able to actually profit from that.
So this is kind of like, it's almost like a real estate investment trust, but more of like a autonomy investment trust. Is that a way to think about this?
That's a great way to think about it. Sometimes, you just have your own apartment that you own and rent out. Sometimes you partner up with a couple different partners and you buy the building. Sometimes you're part of a larger, more structured REIT where there might be hundreds of people who are part of the cash flows that come off of a large complex, for example. Those are all different types of models that can be applied to the autonomous fleet. And with Remount, we're exploring all of those, but we really want to make sure there's a way for regular investors and regular Americans to be able to own a piece of this.
When you look at self-driving cars in particular, and you start to kind of model out and project how many of these cars, in your estimation, may be needed in the United States in, let's say, 5 years, how do you look at that volume, and kind of what are your best guesses on how quickly this scales?
Yeah, so I guess if we start with what is out there today, if you look at the combination of rideshare driving and delivery driving, the estimates are that there are as many as 10 million people in the United States who are participating in that, either part-time or full-time. When you take the drivers out of the vehicles, those vehicles can be on the road a lot longer than just one shift, for example. So that reduces the total number of vehicles that can backfill those roles, and it's going to take a number of years before most of the people are out of the driver's seat and the cars are autonomous. But I think that over the next 5 years, there's several million vehicles of volume that are going to be rolling out across the country, and Tesla is the only manufacturer at the moment who has a chance to really scale to that level. And so that's one reason why at Remount we're using their vehicles as kind of our first wedge of product that we're bringing to market.
So going from 4,000-ish vehicles on the roads today in the United States to, let's say, 2 million in 5 years, that's going to be quite the exponential growth curve. And I think that's pretty much in line with what Autolane's projecting as well, as far as the amount of vehicles that will be needed for autonomous commerce and logistics. I tend to think it's going to be even more than that. I think if you look at just Walmart, so Walmart has their own in-house last mile delivery program called Spark, and they have 1 million active Spark drivers today on the platform. And so that's just one retailer in one country. And what's the crossover, the overlap between Spark drivers and rideshare or Uber Eats and DoorDash? Probably something, but largely speaking, I think you could safely estimate that Walmart has 600,000-700,000 dedicated personal passenger cars that drive for it for last mile. And so you look at that right there, and to your point, each AV is not a one-for-one substitution for a human-driven car, and so it's probably more like a 2-to-1 ratio. But even there, let's say Walmart itself might need 300,000 to 400,000 dedicated autonomous vehicles for its own last mile deliveries over the next 5 years. It's an incredible amount overall of vehicles that we're going to need for both rideshare and delivery. And I think it's a really exciting time to be building a business like you are, because one of the largest questions that we face at Autolane is not, does this technology work? Does the Autolane platform serve a purpose? But when all of this starts coming together over the next few months, how many cars can be put into the Autolane network to be orchestrated for delivery or rideshare, and how quickly can those cars be acquired, and who's going to own them, who's going to maintain and clean them, where are they going to be situated, and that's a major question mark that we're going to have to solve, and why we're excited to talk to you today and get to know your business is that in order for a platform like Autolane to sufficiently requisition enough autonomous vehicles to meet the needs of our customers, we're going to need many financing partners and many types of innovative ideas like Remount that can bring capital and distributed management of autonomous vehicles to scale across the country. So it's a really huge opportunity that you're going after. And I'm personally quite excited that you've come up with this, because I think without a company or a platform like Remount, this is the next bottleneck for all of this will be the supply of vehicles. And that will be a shame, because there is a significant amount of demand for autonomy throughout retail, real estate, logistics, and other large industries. But ultimately, if they can't get enough vehicles to satisfy their demand, then this industry will not grow as fast as it can. So I hope that as the demand and the infrastructure is proven over the next year, that the supply can then meet the challenge. And so ideas like you have, I think, are going to be crucial to solving that.
Agree completely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that what we've discovered in our diligence here is that it's going to require some novel ways for the fleet to be serviced. That's really going to be where the profitability either works or doesn't work. If you look at Waymo, for example, kind of the best, the best fleet that we can look at that's active right now across multiple cities. Waymo has, a extremely expensive service model because they have just one or two large depots in any given city. And those vehicles have to return back to those depots, lots of deadhead miles to get recharged, to get cleaned, to get serviced. And that is very similar to the existing traditional, fleet management model and depot management model that that companies have been running with for the last 100 years. I personally think that it's going to need that we're going to need innovative alternative models where a depot is more like a pit stop, on an F1 course than it is like a big parking lot with hundreds of vehicles that sit overnight. And so, our ability to deliver new kinds of structures is going to be one of the real opportunities that Remount can bring to the table.
How are you starting to test retail participation in, or I guess capture demand in, the normal folks who want to somehow get involved, whether it's to buy their own cars and have Remount service them, or just to participate in some level of investment?
Yeah. So we're hearing from a lot of people who have found the remount.co website and want to understand how can they be an owner of a robo-taxi. We're doing a lot of education right now, and folks who come to our website can kind of look at the different economic modelers that we've built there, so they can get a sense of if that's the kind of investment that they would want to be a part of. And we are getting just lots and lots of people who think that this makes sense for them. I would say there's, just in the first 30 days, through the word of mouth models that we've put out there, we've found, hundreds of people who want to own their own cybercabs, and I have a feeling that will grow to thousands and tens and thousands of people in the near term once this concept starts to resonate with folks, and people start seeing these, these golden Tesla Cybercabs out on the streets, like we see them here in Palo Alto.
This is not the first time that you have built kind of on the frontier. You've done this 2 other times. You've done it with, AI data analysis, and you've done it with NFTs. What sort of insights, or I guess, why is it that you like to build on this kind of frontier space, rather than something a bit more conventional?
Good question. I have a tendency to keep up with what's happening in the world, I guess. And my background is in industrial and manufacturing engineering. It's kind of where I started my career. I started in the robotics space way back in the late 90s, working for Motorola and manufacturing facilities. And so it's just always been a passion of mine to try and figure out what's next, and think about how a business model can be created around new concepts that could really help bring those concepts from a very small group of people who are tracking them today to mainstream audiences.
Would you say that Remount is the most exciting one for you yet so far?
I mean, absolutely. This the number of people who this story resonates with is pretty impressive to me. Just when you try and get a new concept off the ground that no one's ever heard of before, be it like you said, some of the early AI work we did, or some of the early Web3 stuff, you get a lot of blank looks. But the notion of the bots are coming, and people are seeing it with their Tesla self-driving vehicles, and they're hearing about it, and it's even a political concern here with, are people all going to lose their jobs because of the bots? It's a really timely topic, and people really want to dig in and understand what the opportunities are.
I'd love to know what your kind of timelines are around some of these things, because of course, building on the frontier is largely a function of being correct on your timelines.
Yeah.
Too early is the same as too late. Both of those equate to death in usual startup circumstances. So why do you think the time is now for Remount? Why not in 12 months when the Cybercab is fully out and people have, taken rides in these, the pricing is out, these are a stabilized vehicle platform that you can invest in? Or why not 12 months ago when they, 18 months ago when they announced the Cybercab? Why right now?
There's a bunch of signs that the momentum is building quickly from the Tesla side. If you are following along on X and the kind of the Cybercab curious group there, Tesla is now producing dozens of cars per day, maybe even as many as 50 per day of these Cybercab vehicles out of the Giga Texas factory in Austin. I think just today there was a photo of 150 of them in the outbound lot that were produced over the last couple of days. So clearly they're ramping up production now, and those vehicles have been seen in, I think, over 23 different cities across the US. People are spotting them, taking pictures, and reporting that Tesla is out testing in all these different cities. Tesla's building their first depots in a number of different cities already. So the wave of vehicles is happening, and it's clearly a matter of when and not if, as you say. Tesla's also applying for level 4 autonomy certification in a number of different states, which will be absolutely critical for what you guys are doing at Autolane, so that you don't have to wait for the for the Cybercab. Instead, you can use traditional Model Y, which is the platform that you guys are building on, I believe. And so the opportunity to form fleets around these early opportunities is just too good of an opportunity right now. Then I think I just said opportunity 3 times, but it's too good of an opportunity to miss at this point in time. I think that it's even possible that we'll see delivery fleets hit the road from a company like Remount before we'll see the robo taxis. So yeah, now is the time to build.
If you had to wager that 3-dimensional cube art piece behind you,
Yes,
on the week this year that a Cybercab first does a unsupervised commercial ride, what week is it?
Oh, I love this question, Ben.
I think it's before Labor Day. So I'll take the last week of August.
All right.
What's your over under?
I am gonna say before that. Actually, I'm pretty bullish.
I like it.
Particularly because I saw, I think it was yesterday, that they started putting decals on some of the Cybercabs coming off the lot, which I believe they will have some type of marketing and advertising on them. So the fact that they're just now adding those decals to the new ones is a pretty good sign, in my opinion. And then also, they've got their earnings report coming up, their earnings call, and end of the quarter at the end of June here. And I think they promised to have all this stuff working. And of course, they've got a history of dealing with their promises. But I do think, if I were to guess, I'll take the early side of.
Ben, you need to put a date on it.
Oh, you can
put a date.
Okay, my guess is.
You saying in the next 2 weeks?
Second week of July is my guess.
Second week of July. All right.
Okay, so like right after their earnings call. Cam?
Primarily because it's my birthday, I'd really like to say that it's going to be on the 4th of July, but
that would be.
I think I'm going to go post Labor Day, and not because I don't want it to happen earlier, just because I feel like you guys have taken the other 2 good slots. So I'm going like maybe second week of September, 2026.
All right, you guys are boxing me in.
We'll send you our $25 salt lamp from Amazon if we lose the bet here.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say something, that our wager was the salt lamp.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
yeah,
I try to wager it out of this room every other day, but for some reason no one wants it.
We're gonna upgrade the podcast studio from the salt lamp to your 3D cube.
Yeah,
you can't have my sculpture, but I'll throw in an NFT.
An NFT of it. Fine, we'll project that on a little screen in here.
Exactly. I think the other interesting question is going to be, when does Tesla open up reservations for Cybercabs? And like they did with all their other vehicles, they tended to open up reservations before they were selling them, and I think that's gonna really be the big tell for this whole ecosystem to become real. And I'm betting it's a late Q3 type of play for them.
Are you thinking $30,000 price point like they've generally talked about in the past, or more?
Seems like 25 to 30K is what they've kind of anchored on so far. I think there will be, a significant upcharge that represents the autonomous piece of it. You're going to pay the 30K, but then you're going to pay either a monthly fee for you to have your own robo-taxi, your own personal chauffeured car, if you will, and then if you enroll it in their network, you're going to pay, a 30-ish% fee off the top of all the rides that it generates back to Tesla. So most of the actual, profitability and revenue flow is going to come from those fees, I think, at the end of the day, and not necessarily the cost to buy the car.
You've got a engineering and automotive background. Did you see the news that they announced regarding the Cybercab electrical efficiency?
Oh yeah, super efficient vehicle. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. It's smaller, lighter, fewer parts, 2 seats, very aerodynamic. And that's the magic that's going to keep those vehicles on the road. In our modeling, with a 14-hour to 16-hour day of service, that vehicle probably needs 1.5 charges per day. So we're building our depot strategies and our cleaning plans around kind of that level of interaction.
Wasn't it something like 204 miles per gallon equivalency for the Cybercab?
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it's going to change everything. Everything.
100%. 100%.
That little vehicle that could.
And then if they get the inductive charging working, where the vehicle can just pull up over a charger and charge itself and then move on, that's gonna totally change the game as well. The real last mile is going to be, how do you keep it clean, essentially.
I know we're butted up against time here, but Jonas, if people want to reach out, learn more about Remount and or you, where should they go?
I got the website listed right there on my picture. Remount.co is the place to learn about our project. Give us your email address there, and we'll keep you in the loop on how things are rolling out, so you can be a part of it. And then you can find me on X, which is my first and last name, at Jonas Lamis.
Fantastic. Jonas, let's stay in touch as this all progresses. We're both in a similar parallel race. Look forward to watching Remount. Thanks for coming on today, and that's the pod.
Thanks, Jonas.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yep.